Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers potentially signing Sam Darnold. Its free agency opens up today. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But one-time Pro Bowler Sam Darnold, who had an amazing season this season, 17 games, led the Vikings to a 14-3 record. Completion percentage was 66%, which is the highest of his career. 4,319 passing yards, which is obviously the highest of his career. Pretty much everything was the highest of his career at this point. 35 passing touchdowns this year. Did throw 12 interceptions, which, if you look at seasons where he's been a starting quarterback, that is the lowest of his career. For instance, he did have one season where he threw lower, threw 11 in 2020 with the Jets, but he only started 12 games with the Jets in 2020. This year threw 12 picks and started 17 games. I'd rather throw 12 interceptions in 17 games than throw 11 and 12. So, this was Darnold's best season of his career. Just looking at it in a starter, where he's a full starter. Like, I'm not talking about 2022 where he started 6 games for Carolina, or last year starting 1 game with San Francisco. 2023 starting 1 game with San Francisco, or 2021 starting 11 games with Carolina. You can even look at 2021 starting 11 games at Carolina through 13 picks. In his years in New York, wasn't even playing 14 games a season. 14 starts the season. Interceptions are higher than it was this season. So his interceptions were, completely a different thing compared to being a starter before in the league. And he also ran for 335 rushing yards this season, but also this is interesting, got sacked the most he's got sacked in his career. 48 times he was sacked this year. But also, look, at the same time, the most he's ever played in his career. It was the most pass attempts he's thrown in the season by over 100. Before this, had not even played 14 games in a season. This is his first full season. So I guess it's not a huge surprise that he was sacked way more than previous seasons. But still, before that, the most he'd been sacked in a season was 35. This year is 48. So, and there's about a difference of 4 games. So, it's actually not that crazy. But, I think adding in Sam Darnold to the Steelers team it'd be amazing. You'd have Sam Darnold throwing the football to, DK Metcalf and George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth at tight end. Who knows who will be at running back, because Najee Harris is a free agent, and I don't think they're going to bring him back. Maybe you go after a J.K. Dobbins or a Nick Chubb or someone like that is a free agent. I don't know. I don't know if you can really afford both Darnold and J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb with the contract you just gave to DK Metcalf, but I know they can afford Darnold. That's what I do know. There wouldn't be talks about them potentially signing him. So it would be interesting to see Sam Darnold on this Steelers team. Look, I think there's not a lot of better situations I think he can go to. You're going to look at what he had in Minnesota, where he's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. He's throwing to those two guys, those two great wide receivers. I'm not saying that the next best wide receiver duo in the league is DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I'm not saying that at all. But the best place, the best options for Sam Darnold, that's the best wide receiver duo. I know the Seahawks are interested, right? Right now, the only wide receiver they got is JSN, because Lockett's been released. Metcalf is a Steeler now. You can go to the Giants, who might be interested in Darnold. Malik Neighbors is a great wide receiver. But who would you rather have, Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, or DK Metcalf and George Pickens? And then, who are the other teams that are interested in Darnold besides the Giants, the Steelers, and the Giants, the Steelers, and the Seahawks? I know the Raiders are out. The Raiders have re-signed. The Raiders have traded for Geno Smith, and you got the Vikings who said they're not going to re-sign him. I feel like Darnold wouldn't go back to the Jets. And even if he would, even if he would go back to the Jets, I mean, Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard isn't better than DK Metcalf and George Pickens. And I don't know how many other options there is for Sam Darnold out there. I don't think there is. So this is the best wide receiver option for Sam Darnold. We saw how well he worked with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying like that. If it wasn't for those two guys, like maybe he could go to Seattle and just play with JSN and he can have a really good season. But I feel like he was a much more dangerous quarterback because he had the weapons that he had in Minnesota. You want to have the weapons? Pittsburgh's the perfect place to do that, where you have, you have DK and you have Pickens, Freiermuth, solid offensive line, great defense, possibly a good running back depending on who they bring in free agency. It's a good head coach. It's like Minnesota. I mean, you had a great coach in Minnesota. You had a great wide receiver duo. You had a good running back. Who knows what you'll see in Pittsburgh with the running back position. You had a good tight end, Freiermuth. You had Hawkinson last year. Offensive line for Minnesota is a little bit questionable, but it's okay. It's solid. Defense for Minnesota was really solid last year. It's not as good as Pittsburgh, but it was good. So, look, I think Darnold, if you got Pittsburgh and they want to bring you in, that's the 100%. That's the place you want to go, 100%. Let me know your thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings potentially signing Sam Darnold in the comment section. Sorry. The Pittsburgh Steelers potentially signing Sam Darnold in the comment section, and peace out.